a very important sign there, and you're more than welcome to, of course, programme 219 from LTV2 Mill Street. With Bernard on camera here, we're in a very prestigious setting here in the Wallace Arms Hotel, because this is a meet and greet for not just a national but an international event. Now, involved in this also is the famous St. John's GAA Club in Oban here in Mill Street, and they're going to tell us more about their involvement in this prestigious event. So first of all, we have Chairman John Toomey. Hello, John.
John, how are you?
And we have the Secretary, Don O'Riordan.
How are you, Johnny?
And gentlemen, a real prestigious occasion, but first of all, just to explain what is happening here tonight, John.
Well, I suppose it's a kind of a sponsors night, just to promote the event. Is on in a fortnight's time.
And of course, the event we're talking about is
the All Ireland Sheep Shearing for 2013. There's an international class in it as well, and there's a wool handling competition as well in it, so it is a huge event.
And I mean, for Mill Street and for Oban particularly to be so involved in it, this is really quite an amazing status.
Absolutely. I think there's 31 or 2 years since it was held in Mill Street last. I'd say that was probably the last time it was held in the south of Ireland.
And that was in Green Glens also?
Green Glens also, yeah, absolutely. You know.
Now, how did you in St. John's GAA Club become involved, John?
Well, I suppose Paddy O'Keefe, Dangerson, was the man that kind of mentioned it first maybe a year ago, and it kind of went to sleep then for a bit, and the opportunity came up in January of this year to hold it for this year if we wanted it, right? And it went on from there, and there was a subcommittee put in place then, Humphrey O'Riordan, the chairperson of that, and it went from there. So.
And you have been amazingly proactive since then.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
And just the amount of work involved in preparation for this must be enormous.
Yeah, I suppose, sir, as John said there, we've I suppose a committee in place there for the last maybe two months now at this stage, and I suppose there's been meetings probably at least once, maybe twice a week, and a lot of work with the Green Glens, which has been really good, that we've able to have the best venue you could have in Ireland, for it. And but we've had great engagement from the players. We've had good players involved, and some of the other people around Oban and Kilcorn and Kilhoola as well. So it all helps, and everyone's doing their own job. And hopefully you see the posters and the signs in the shops and the signs up in the telephone.
Exceptionally well. Even on screen at the moment, we see many of the different events and so on. John, of course, the committee that are organising this, they must be hugely pleased that St. John's Club have involved themselves.
Absolutely. We've a lot of help got from George Graham. He's from Wexford. He huge helped us. The sponsors, of course, Click and Filmac have been, these events can't take place without sponsorship.
And of course, here tonight there are representatives of those those groups.
They're too numerous to name, but it's just impossible to hold an event of this size without sponsors. And, we've got a very good response from sponsors, and trade stands as well is another big part of income on it. So.
All we can say, gentlemen, is every success.
Sparkles like diamonds when the diamonds fall. They burn like tears when the diamonds fall. They burn like tears.
If I see you tomorrow on some pardon me if I don't say hello. I belong to another. It wouldn't look so good to know someone I'm not supposed to know. Or just walk on by, wait on the corner. I love you. just walk on by. Wait on the corner. I love you, but we're strangers when we meet. Hey, just a walk on by. Wait on the corner. I love you, but we're strangers when we meet. Yeah, I love you, but we're strangers when we meet.
If you're lonesome at your table and you're trying to all those tears, you don't have to keep thinking all the time. Well, I'm that old boy like you that's been sinking for so long. If it's lonesome at your table, you're welcome here at mine. This honky-tonk don't offer much, just a cold and lonely heart. The place to think that old lonesome time. I'm glad you're here to sympathize when the rain words fall apart. If it's lonesome at your table, you're welcome here at mine. Better dry those pretty eyes, sweetheart, and wipe those tears away. The world don't care about you when you cry. Well, I'm so doggone numb, and I love you when you say, if it's lonesome at your table, you're welcome here at mine. Used to like the songs I'm playing, and I'll bet that since that day I must have bought this old jukebox a million times. Let's buy it just once more tonight, for I love you when you say, if it's lonesome at your table, you're welcome here at mine. Thank you. You just can't stand to see me happy. You seem to hurt me all you can. Still I keep on loving you, but I never understand all the pain of loving you, all the misery I go through, never knowing what to do, all the pain of loving you. To love and hate at the same time, the line between the two is fine, but to husband me heart and soul, so strong that I can't let you go. All the pain of loving you, all the misery I go through, never knowing what to do, all the pain of loving you, all the pain of loving you, all the misery I go through, never knowing what to do, all the pain of loving you.
Sparkles like diamonds when the diamonds fall. They burn like tears when the diamonds fall. They burn like tears.
On behalf of St. John's GA Club and the organising committee, I would like to thank all of you for coming. to our sponsors tonight. For this, the Click All Ireland, an international sheep shearing and wool handling in association with Filmac, and we're also in media partnership with the Cork Examiner, or the Examiner, still the Cork Examiner here. Look, we have a few speakers lined up, so I won't delay for long. And I suppose without further ado, I'd like to introduce you all to our committee chairman, Mr. Humphrey O'Regan.
Thank you, Hugh. I'd like to, on behalf of St. John's GA Club, and especially the organising committee of St. John's GA Club, welcome you all here tonight. It was actually a huge honour to be asked by St. John's GA to give me a hand in organising this event that I was kind of half literally, and that I hadn't much to do, and I didn't like to say no, so I came on, and I hardly got home since. So thanks to the St. John's GA. I want to say a huge thanks to all our sponsors. There are a few sponsors which really have shone out, and without them we would not even have attempted to run the event. Novartis, Click Poran came on very early in the time and said that it would help us in every way they could, both financially and advice with regards to media and all that, and they came true to their word, and they were very, very good. Local man, of course, really, he rang one day and he said, would he like a bit of help with regards to sheep shearing, and that's Frank Casey over him, by right. We said, Frank, I said, we call him to Frank, like, we had no chat. Something we didn't leave him since. And he, in fairness, he did put his hand in his pocket. He was very good, and like, he has a group working above him, and they've done untold work for us. Without him, we would hardly be this far at all. Local men like Dan Buckler, he's after stepping up to the place as well, as is a good few more locals. And I'd like to just say thanks very, very much to all that, and just give them all a round of applause, please. We had a very good start with the venue we had. So the Green Glens Arena, it really is, as George Graham said to us, it is the best event centre in the world for sheep shearing championships. And we are very, very lucky to have it, and I'd like to thank the Duggan family for the use of the Green Glens. The hotel tonight, in fairness, they were very, very obliging to us. Billy and his staff are very, very good. The food was outstanding, and I was watching down and there were smiles in their faces, which is a good sign when you're eating things. So I give it a round of applause to the hotel staff as well. The actual event itself, of course, is geared around sheep. And without farmers, we wouldn't have sheep. And in fairness, we had a subcommittee elected very early in the time to go and organise sheep. They have travelled the length of Brecon Munster to get sheep this year because the spring wasn't the best, and you need sheep in fairly good condition to shear them. And the condition of the sheep this year wasn't great, but like, things are coming good, and I think our sheep are almost put together, but in case our lads wouldn't have much to do, we'll keep them going for another bit and push for a few extra sheep, and we'll have a share of spares and things like that. So Paddy and Tim, they have untold work done, but they have a lot more to do in the next few weeks, crutching these sheep and getting them ready for the event. But in fairness, they're great lads, and they're going well. St. John's GA Club, I suppose, it's the newest club in County Cork. And as one person said to me at the very start, it's the smallest club in County Cork, but if it is, I reckon it has the biggest heart. Because there is no such thing as the word no inside in that club. We meet nearly twice a week with the last couple of months. Anyone that was ever asked to do a job, it was always done, and done to perfection before the next meeting. And like, if that wasn't happening, we could not run this event. And there's a huge credit due to the players and all the members of St. John's, because when I walked in the first night and see this bunch of young fellas, and like, I wasn't like an old lad with him, I was amazed to even dream that they were considering running this event. And I didn't know that they realised how enormous the event was, but like, they really have come together. They're a fantastic group, and I know that weekend will be a huge success. And to know the sponsors, would they give a round of applause to St. John's GAA Club? I haven't a whole pile more to say. There was a few guests came tonight, and they were very helpful, and we had a few politicians and things like that, and they were a great help to us all along, and there's a great credit due to them, and they're local, and they're very approachable, and they're a good help to us, and hopefully they might steer a few more pound our way before the next 2 weeks are out. There's another one particular man that I better name him, and that's George Graham. He's the PRO for the Sheep Shearing Association. I have rang him several times, could you do something about this, and that's no bother, it's what you'll always be told. And there is a different crowd actually involved in this. They're so helpful, you couldn't praise them enough. So to George, I'd just like to say thanks for all his help for the last 2 or 3 months, and we'll break his heart for the next 2 weeks. So I think I'd hand it back to you now again. I've enough said, and thanks very much, and thanks to everyone for coming and for all the help.
Thanks very much, Humphrey. I suppose next on the list is a representative from our title sponsor, Click Poran from Novartis, and I'd like to get you all to give a big round of applause to Margaret Cashman.
Sorry, I'm like Hopalong Cassidy trying to get up. I work for Novartis Animal Health, which is a pharmaceutical company, and when you work for a pharmaceutical company, you immediately get pages of a speech with about 10 disclaimers and everything on it, so I'm going to ignore that and give it a short, brief speech. On behalf of Novartis, I wish to say that our company is delighted to be involved with Click All Ireland and International Sheep Shearing Championships once again this year as sponsors. We've been involved with the sheep shearing as a company for the past 20 years, and I would like to say that this year the committee are so dedicated and so energetic that we are absolutely delighted to be a part of it. I suppose me being from Cork, I thought the sheep shearing would never come to Cork, because I've been to Portlaoise, to Punchestown, to Galway, to Mayo, everywhere, and I was saying to Eileen Creedon one day, I said, would we ever get it to Cork? And fair play to Eileen, she managed to bring it to Cork this year. And so thanks very much to St. John's GAA for bringing it to Cork. Just a quick couple of thank yous. A sincere thanks to the committee, especially to Humphrey O'Riordan, Chairman, Sonia O'Riordan, Secretary, Hugh Sheehan, PRO, and also a sincere thanks to Paddy O'Keefe and Tim Creedon for their generous help with all the photo shoots and supplying sheep and doing the shearing. I think everyone has seen them in one paper or another in the last couple of weeks, and hopefully in the next 2 weeks we'll continue to see them. Also, I would like to thank Eileen Creedon and George Graham of the Irish Sheep Shearers Association for their help and cooperation, and I wish the committee every success in the weekend, 2 weeks' time. And as I say, we're Click. A lot of you might know what Click is. It's a pour-on for sheep, just in case you think it's a staple or something like that. It's not. It's actually a pour-on for sheep. So again, just to say that we're delighted to be involved, and I wish you the best of luck, and we'll all be there with bells on in 2 weeks' time. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Margaret. We'll move swiftly along, and next up, main sponsors from Southwestern Sales. Phil Mack is the brand, and the speaker is Derry Casey.
Thanks, you. I suppose it should really be Frank that's up here talking to you lads, but he's given me the honour to say a few words here tonight. Firstly, I suppose it's South Coast Sales. Alright, Hugh. And look, a few weeks ago, Damien Hayes, known locally as Joe Hayes for some reason, our store manager, came to us and he said, would you like to get involved in this event? And I suppose given the fact that Frank is from Mill Street, it was a good idea, and Frank was excited about it straight away. We met with Humphrey, Hugh, Eileen and Sonia on a couple of occasions, and when they explained to us that it was an international event with competitors coming from New Zealand, Australia, England, Scotland, Wales and even Ireland, we felt that given that Filmac is manufactured in Australia, that it was a good idea to get involved. So we did, and it's been a great success, and meeting with the lads, Hugh and the lads, it's it has really been fantastic because we've bandied around a few different ideas and did different things that I think have been of benefit to the competition. Filmac, I suppose I'm not sure if everybody knows what Filmac is. They're water connections, they're manufactured in Australia. Frank brought them to Ireland in 1990, and through his hard work and the hard work from all the people at Soco Sales, Filmac products are now a brand leader in Ireland. We wanted to wish St. John's all the best, and really what we want to say, we were discussing this coming down the car, Frank picked me up on the way down, and I suppose the one thing that came through in the conversation was the organising committee and the people of St. John's. And the fact that the club is approximately 3 years old, and Humphrey mentioned it earlier, and I can only second it, that what we've seen from St. John's, a small community in Kilcorny and Oban, has been absolutely fantastic. The way they have the drive and passion for what they do is absolutely wonderful in this recession that we're going through at the moment. And talking to the lads, I know there's 10 or a dozen players that have left the team in the last year or two. And, you know, when I look at these guys and I see the passion that they have, I know that this is going to be a huge success in 2 weeks' time. And I just like to congratulate them on the efforts they've put in and wish them all the best. And I know it can only be a success. And Nevona Boo.
I'd like to invite Dan Buckley up to say a few words from Daniel P. Buckley Wool Merchants and Clover Hill Foods.
I won't delay you, I'll guarantee you that much. I'm very delighted and honoured to be associated with the All-Ireland Sheep Shearing for a couple of reasons. First of all, it's on in our hometown and it's good for the town. It'll bring in a lot of people and it's in one of the best venues that it could be in, I would say. And I would say also, my other reason is I would be a selfish reason, I suppose, in business. In my business, in every business, you are asked continually for sponsorship for this, that and the other, and sometimes you end up sponsoring things that you really have no interest in or you don't even understand how anyone could have interest in. But this one is different. It's actually very different. I suppose since my great-grandfather's time, sheep and wool and all associated with both of them, they've been a major part of our lives. And I suppose I'll just try and tell you a story how we got into sheep, which is the family legend anyway. My great-grandfather, my father's grandfather, I would say probably in the 1880s, he was renting land at home in Tourborne from the McCarthy O'Learys, the landlords at the time, because that time you didn't really own land. And 4 horny hogged sheep came and landed and stayed on the hill above the house, and they had a red shoulder and a notch out of their right ear, and he didn't know who they would belong to, and there was no owner coming forward from anywhere, and nobody local seemed to know. So that time there wasn't Twitter and Facebook and all of that, so the way you'd get news around, you would get it announced at Mass. So he got announced in, we'll say, Ballydaly, Shrone, Mill Street, Rathmore, Headford, Clownkeene, Ballavourna, and eventually it came forward that a man from the top of Coombe, one of the big Dans, came to see him, and they were his sheep. But they had been around for a while because it took a while for all that to happen, and he had got fond of him in the meantime, and he actually bought him off the big dance. And the mark that was on him is still the mark we have today, the notch out of the ear and the red shoulder. So, and this event, the byproduct of it is wool, and wool is the business that's been in Mill Street for nearly all that time. My grandfather sold wool to Mikey Reardon on the main street. He would be, we'll say, John Coleman's wife's parents' people. When he died, Dan Kelleher down at the bridge took it on and did very well, and I'd say became rich at it, which has failed me so far. In 1986, I started myself, and thankfully I'm still going. That's just the story to date. I would like to echo what some of the other speakers said and commend the St. John's for having the character and the bravery to take it on, because there is a risk in any venture like that. It could go wrong, but usually, I suppose, fortune favours the brave, and hard work will tilt the odds in your favour. So if we look at who's involved, there's St. John's Club, starting a club out in the middle of the mountain and making a go of it. That takes a bit of doing and making a success of it. You have Patrick O'Keefe and his sister in Topacoombe. The crowd before him were never afraid of hard work. And, you know, I've been driving around. I do a bit of driving in my job, and I've been in Cashel, and I've been in Bandon, and I've been in Killarney and England. I've seen signs for this event. So that doesn't happen without somebody working, and I would like to commend them, and I guarantee you will be successful. So I'd like to summarise and say thank you. I'm honoured to be associated with it, and if there's any help or anything I can give, no problem, just ask me. Thank you.
George Graham is the PRO of the Irish Sheep Shearers Association, and George, as was mentioned by Humphrey before, has given us incredible help over the last couple of months and continues to do so. And obviously without him, it wouldn't take place, really, to be honest about it. So without further ado, I'd like you to give a round of applause to George Graham.
Mr. Chairman, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Firstly, I'd like to say a special word of thanks to the committee for inviting me down here this evening, and to the committee that's organising and St. John's GA Club, and wish you every success on the weekend of the 25th and 26th. I know the task is ahead of you. I've been involved in this for a number of years, so too well I know, and I know what's ahead of you for the next fortnight as well. But you're a wonderful committee. You've been doing a great job in a pretty short time, and it's a credit to you what you've achieved. As was mentioned earlier about the venue, you'll probably never appreciate the venue you have. I've been fortunate enough to be around the world at different shearing venues, and you have, without doubt, the best venue in the world, but you probably will never appreciate it. You had the opportunity of going in there, and it's a wonderful venue, and it'll actually sell itself. It doesn't matter what the weather is, everything will just go ahead. But probably my duty here tonight is just briefly run through what's happening on the 2 days, on the Saturday and the Sunday, and I'll start off on Saturday morning. We start off with a very, very special event. It's the Cork Kerry Special, and that promises to be special. And the one thing I'm going to emphasise on that, it will start at 7:30 on Saturday morning, and anybody that comes a minute after that, they'll have to wait 24 hours till Sunday morning to shear again. So that's just the way we've been running the competitions, so that's the way it's going to happen. Shearing competitions is a little bit like sport. It's broken up into different categories. We have junior, intermediate, senior and open, all in that order. So it commences then with the Cork Kerry Special, followed by junior heats, intermediate heats. We then have blade shearing, senior heats and open heats, which will bring us up to close to lunchtime. After that, I think there's a committee have penciled in an official opening at lunchtime. I'm not sure what the criteria is for that, but there'll be an official opening at lunchtime on the Saturday. Afternoon, we commence with all semi-finals and all those competitions. About mid-afternoon, we will get underway with all those finals, and we will conclude at hopefully about 5:30 on Saturday evening with the Irish Open final, where Ivan Scott will be hoping to defend his All-Ireland title. Later on in the evening, we will have the All-Ireland Wool Handling Heats and Final, and the only international event of the Saturday will be the International Wool Handling Heats and Final. That will conclude the main events of the Saturday. And of course on the Saturday night, one of our sponsors here, Novartis, are sponsoring a big speech here competition where you'll see the top competitors from all over the world taking part. That promises to be a real spectacle and is something not to be missed. But I think there's going to be a little bit of a social side to it as well. I believe there's some wonderful entertainment coming, so you won't have to move away from the Green Glens. Everything will happen there on the Saturday night. And hopefully it finishes before an 8 AM start on Sunday morning. If we then move on to Sunday, and again, it's basically the same format, but the thing about Sunday, we will have all our international competitors will be competing. Again, the junior, intermediate, senior and open heats, hand shearing, semi-finals and the finals. Some of the competitors we have coming, we have world record holders. We have a current world teams champion from New Zealand, Johnny Kilpatrick, has never been over here before. We have the Smith brothers. We will have Garrett Daniels from Wales coming to defend his Click International Open title. We have Hamish Mitchell, who he won the last speed show we had back a couple of years ago from Scotland, now living in Norway. They are making a trip all during the night from another competition to be here in time for that event. And that last event, I think that speed here, he clocked 22.5 seconds was the time in that one. So that's what you're going to be watching here on the Saturday night. So that promises to be a real spectacle. But what sheep shearing is, we just talked about sheep shearing. We think a shearer's gone out into a shed or out in the paddock and shearing sheep. But what you're actually watching is super athletes. You're watching the Olympics of sheep shearing. Some people just sheep shearing. But these people look after themselves, they do a lot of training, and it's actually a real spectacle to watch. You have Ivan Scott, for instance. He's the only shearer, a Donegal man, he's the only shearer from the Northern Hemisphere to ever set a world record. He shore 737 lambs in an 8-hour day about 4 years ago. He was beaten by 4 sheep the following year, and he came back a year ago and he set up another new record, and he shored 744 lambs in an 8-hour day. That's the type of athletes you want to see shearing here. If you just work out that, there's 3,600 seconds in an hour. If you multiply that by 8, I think it'll give you something like 28,800. Divide that by 744, and it works out something like 37.60 seconds per sheep. So that's what you're just going to watch. Imagine doing that for an 8-hour day. We talk about people running marathons, and with statistics that have been done, doing that record is much more difficult than doing 2 full marathons back to back. So that's what you'll be coming to watch here. Also, we hear about Cork, and they often boast a little bit about being the biggest county in Ireland. So I sincerely hope the people of Cork will come and make this the biggest and best All-Ireland and International Sheep Shearing ever. You have the venue to do that, and I hope everybody comes and support that, because the effort the committee are putting in and the effort the sponsors have done and the money they put into it, they deserve that support. It's 32 years since I competed in an All-Ireland down here in Mill Street. Things have changed a lot since then, and it's wonderful to see it back down here in Munster. It hasn't been in Munster now for a long, long time, and to see it back here at this venue again 32 years later, it's actually wonderful. And I think there was actually somebody else to come up here and say a few words on behalf of the Irish Sheep Shearers Association, but we nagged at the last minute. So also on behalf of the Irish Sheep Shearers Association, I'd like to say a special word of thanks and congratulate the committee on what they've done. They've done a wonderful job here. Without, you can have the best venue in the world, you can have all the money in the world. That still doesn't run a sheep shearing. You still have to have the sheep. They're the basic ingredient of the whole thing. And we often forget some of our major sponsors, and them are the sheep farmers. Without the sheep farmers and the sheep suppliers, this just couldn't happen. Didn't matter how much money you had or what venue you have there. And I know the effort has to go in looking for these sheep. They all have to be touched beforehand, and then the nightmare can come, what's the weather going to be like coming up to the event. But if you start thinking too much about all these things, you just wouldn't run the event. But I know, talking to the committee here, Tim and Paddy, they've done a great job. They've already sheds organised if the weather is wrong, and farmers have been very supportive. They're going to look after the sheep and make sure sheep are dry. Another thing we always look after, it's compulsory that all sheep has to be shorn at least once a year, but one of the important things that's done with the host committee and everybody involved is we always look after the welfare of the animal, and that's very, very important. So that's one of the things that's very important. We also have here, for the event to run smoothly, an international lineup of judges along with our own Irish judges. And sheep shearing is judged as 3 different categories. I'm not going to get into deeply to it. The shearers that are judging on the board are just looking for second cuts of the wool. If you second cut the staple of the wool, you're evaluating it. It takes a sheep a full 12 months to grow a fleece of wool, and you can actually destroy that in just seconds with bad shearing. So that's what the judges on the board is looking for. The judges out the back are looking for a nice even level finished job with no tassels or ridges of wool left on, and then they're timed as well. So that's what the judges are there. We also will have an international lineup of commentators, scorekeepers, timekeepers. It's a massive team effort. There's a serious amount of people involved for to host this, and it's a lot of organising. But it's wonderful to see this international lineup. We probably have one of the biggest prize monies here in the British Isles, but that's how we can attract all these top competitors from all over the world. The other vital thing this year, it's a special event here for the host committee. The wool handling winner on the Saturday, the blade shearing winner on the Saturday, and the Irish Open champion on the Saturday will be the first 3 people who will make the Irish team to represent Ireland in the Golden Shears World Championships in Wexford next year. So that's a great honour for Mill Street and Cork to be able to say they selected the first 3 members of the Irish team. The other members will be selected from a circuit. They will have to attend 8 shows all over Ireland, north and south, to make that team as well. It's also part of the Welsh circuit and part of the Northern Ireland Nissa circuit. So that just tells you the importance of the event you're hosting here. So I think you probably have heard enough from me, and but again, I'd like to say a special word of thanks to the host committee. You've done a wonderful job, and roll on the 25th and 26th of May to some Cork sunshine and Irish hospitality. And just before I conclude, I'm quite sure with the wonderful venue you have, it's a lot of space out there. I'm quite sure they'll still make room for another through few trade stands or sponsors. Don't miss the opportunity if you can come on board. Just support the committee. They deserve all the support they can get, and you would never know what little deal there. Humphrey might be that bit generous now in the last couple of weeks, so it's worth a try. Just try your hand anyway, but don't miss the opportunity. Support them in every way you can. So just before I finish, there's 2 people I'd just like to call up here for a couple of seconds, and that's them 2 sheepmen, Tim Creedon and Paddy O'Keefe. So if they just could come up here for a couple of seconds, please. They just stand out here now where everybody can have a good look at both of you. There's something special about these, and this is what's going to make this a special All Ireland. One of them is Cork, and the other is Kerry. So just to give you a little flavour and finish on a lighter note of what to expect here on the 25th and 26th. If you can imagine these 2 boys up on the stand here shearing, they will have their sponsors' singlets on there, and we'll just give you a small little flavour. Timekeepers ready, judges ready, competitors go. And the way to go on stand number 1, it's Tim Creedon, his first sheep out on the board. Paddy O'Keefe is right there as well, and the way to go down the last side to come, and they're in now for their 19th, second last sheep. And down the last side comes Paddy O'Keefe. He's catching right back now. Paddy O'Keefe, he says, I picked the sheep. I'm going to make sure to have the best. It's Paddy O'Keefe. Down the last side comes Paddy, but Tim coming right back at him. Out to go, down the last side. And in they come, and out they come with their 20th final sheep on the board. It's Paddy O'Keefe now. He's got a little bit ahead, but Tim Creedon is coming right back at him. They turn for home, down to the shoulder, down to the flank, and out the back leg they go. It's Tim Creedon now leading by a blow, but Paddy O'Keefe, he's back and he's full of blow back on him. There's just a blow in it. Out they go and they're finished, and you may come on the 25th and we'll give you the results. Thank you very much.
Oh, I wish it would've rained. Wash my face clean. I wanna find some dark cloud to hide in the here. Oh, love and a memory. Sparkles like diamonds when the diamonds fall. They burn like tears when the diamonds fall. They burn like tears. Once I had a love from the Georgia Pans who only cared for me.
Well, as you can see here, people are really enjoying themselves at this meet and greet, and my goodness, it's so wonderfully organised by the committee. And we are absolutely delighted and honoured to be joined by, of course, the All-Ireland and International Sheep Shearing Committee themselves. And we have the PRO and we have the chairperson. PRO, Hughie, how are you?
Shawnee, how are you keeping?
And Humphrey O'Riordan.
Very good, very good.
So we have Hughie Sheehan and Humphrey O'Riordan. Now, as chairperson, my goodness, what a role. But when I think back, you were an All-Ireland chairperson of another organisation. Just a little reminder there.
Yeah, I was the national president of the National Parents Council post-primary for 3 years. And I was the national president of the Parents Association for the Community and Comprehensive Schools for 5 years.
And everything went so peaceful when you were the chairperson.
You know, we hadn't any major problems at all, and we had a local Minister for Education in the finish of it, which actually helped slightly as well, so yeah.
But Humphrey, just to give us an idea what's involved, because my goodness, what an amazing, prestigious event is about to happen here.
Yeah, it is actually a huge event for an area like Mill Street to even dream of coping with. Not to mind thinking that the newest GA club in Cork County is actually the main host for the event. I'd say, starting out, we didn't really expect it was going to be as big as it is, but I got we weren't long coming to our senses when we realised the budget we needed to actually finance it and run it. But in fairness, our sponsors, people placing ads, every one of them, one is more generous than the other one.
And your major sponsors are?
Our major sponsor are the Click Poran, which is produced by Novartis Animal Health. We have Filmec, which is of course a local man to Mill Street, which is Frank Casey for Mill Street. And Jan Buckley, our local sheep merchant, is major sponsor as well, and there's a few more. In fairness, they're very, very good. The Irish Examiner have been a huge help to us. There's a lot of people we should mention, but we can't mention them all. But like we'll mention the four of them because they're very special to us. In fairness, we wouldn't be here without them.
And Humphrey, I must say that your PRO is doing an amazing job altogether, because my goodness, it must be one of the best promoted events that we have seen. You're using media in the most amazing manner, Hughie.
Well, I suppose we're getting an awful lot of help from our title sponsors and from our main sponsors on the PR side of it. As PRO, this is the first time I've ever been a PRO outside of, well, maybe for Rathcoole Rovers, but that would have been a way different setup. But yeah, it's a very, very difficult role, and would be a way more difficult without the help of Click and Filmac. I suppose we're piggybacking really their PR machines in a way, but not to say that we haven't got a great deal of help from the local media, especially, including yourselves, giving us pointers as to where we're to go and what we're to do. So yeah, we're very pleasantly surprised by the help we've got.
And the use of Facebook is another major one.
Well, I suppose Facebook is just one of these mediums now that you either love it or you hate it, but you have to say it does get you all around the country and indeed the world. We have a lot of, I suppose you would call them expats now, especially ex-players from St. John's Club in Australia, and they are giving us their full backing and liking and sharing and doing everything else that needs to be done. So it's an excellent medium.
So it really has the dimension of being international in a very special way.
It has that, and when we say international, I suppose it was just a word in a title when we started out, but at this point now we've seen what international really means, and it is an international event. We are accepting, I suppose, entries from all over the world, I suppose, from sheep shearing strongholds like New Zealand and Australia. We have the world champion Ivan Scott, who's shorn 744 lambs in 8 hours. Now, I couldn't have told you how good that was, but I'll tell you, it'll take me 8 hours to shear one.
Humphrey, to give people an idea, to give our viewers an idea, what can they expect to see when they'll enter Green Glens on the 25th of May?
Our main aim, actually starting out, was to promote that it's actually an indoor event. And
weather doesn't make a difference.
High, dry and holy, they say. We definitely have the best venue in Europe, and as George Graham, who is the PRO for the Irish Sheep Shearing Association, said the other day, he said we have the best venue in the world. And that was a huge bonus for us when we actually started out. because the first thing we knew we had a venue that was capable of doing anything. We then said we'd have to aim at having his family, kind of a family focus, so we have an awful lot on for families. We have a fun zone for the small kids, we have a fun fair, we've tug of war, we have...
I love the way you call it, a fun zone.
Yeah, and it's actually indoors, so even if it rains, they're inside, they're on soft ground. It is absolutely ideal for to keep the children happy, and you can leave them in there and go away and look at everything else, because we have trade stands of all descriptions. We have a food and a craft fair, jog shows. We have sheepdog trials, which hasn't been seen around Mill Street for a long, long time. It'll be actually down the very lower end of the that's outdoors, like that'll be down the very lower end. So.
And it's the main arena you're using? Are you using the other outlets within Green Glens itself?
The main stage for the event itself will be erected in the main arena, as will the trade stands.
Right.
In the, as they call it, the warm-up arena, we will have displays of different breeds of sheep. Like you have Belclares and you have Scotch, you have Texels, and you have a hell of a lot of sheep that I know nothing about.
We'll be experts in sheep shearing after all this.
Well, like, in fairness,
or sheep themselves.
You and myself, before we started, we didn't know much about shearing a sheep, and like we had heard maybe of a few Scotch and Suffolk and maybe the Texels.
And a couple of black faces, maybe. A couple of black faces. yeah.
So you know, we've a lot learned since, but. I think it should be a very, very good day for everyone.
And it starts very early in the morning.
Well, unfortunately, it starts at 7 o'clock, 6 o'clock for us. But what you will see probably on 7 o'clock in the morning, on the Saturday morning of the event, is you will see the hard and die-hard fans, and you'll have the competitors will be lining up at that stage. So we would be welcoming people to come in at 7 o'clock and see it, at its purest. I suppose get in first come, first served for all the different things that are available in the trade stands as well, and the craft and the food fair also. So it will be a long day, but great value for a tenner.
Fantastic altogether. So that's just not one day, it goes into a second day.
It goes into a second day, and I suppose before we'll go into that, I suppose I would like to promote the fact that this is €10 for an adult, and all children are free. So that's
very fair, very fair.
Well, in these times, I won't mention the R word, but in these times, it's important, and it's great value for money, because you can stay there from 7 o'clock in the morning until 6 o'clock at night for a tenner if you're an adult, and there's plenty to do. And what we're really trying to do, and Humphrey touched on it as well, is we have a couple of goals. We've set out a couple of goals at the start of this. Obviously the first goal is to make money for St. John's GAA Club, because that's what's at the heart of all of this, and that's what drives, and that's what the local community row in behind, and that's what people support. And I suppose the second goal really is, and it is a very important goal for us, is that we're trying to promote Mill Street. Now, Mill Street already has a really high standing, and it is well versed in holding, and it's well capable of holding these size events, because everybody within a 10-mile radius of this town knows what it is to hold a prestigious event like the All-Ireland International Sheep Shearing Wool Handling Championships. Now, notwithstanding the fact that it's also next year it's going to be in Wexford, and it'll be the World Championships. So this is why this event in particular is actually one of the biggest events that it has been in years. A lot of the teams that are coming down will be picking their World Championship competing teams this year in Mill Street on the 25th and the 26th of May.
Thanks very much indeed, Humphrey, and indeed, of course, we have PRO excellent here, Hughie. Thanks very much indeed. And at this particular point, we're going to go to some news now, because it's time for Eileen's news. So from the Wallace Arms here, back to our studio with, of course, Bernard on camera here, and let's hear Eileen's latest news.
This is Maria Galera Carter, and welcome to LTV2 News. For a start this evening anyway, I want to wish a very sincere congratulations from all our community to Mary and Bob Keane of Coolnarna and their family on winning €500,000 in the Euro Millions at our Super Value store during the week. We wish them many happy days ahead as a result. It's a case of all hands on deck here in Mill Street this week as we prepare to celebrate the 20th anniversary of our hosting of the Eurovision Song Contest in 1993. On this Saturday night, May the 18th, the mighty Green Glens will again resound to the beautiful singing of Niamh Kavanagh, who made us so proud 20 years ago. The programme of the night will include many blasts from the past, a fine buffet meal by the well-known Dennis Doody of Kingdom Caterers. There will also be a slideshow and lots more. And Eddie O'Gorman and Pacific Blues will bring the night to an end when you can dance until the wee small hours. Tickets are still on sale, and if you didn't get yours yet, you better get it straight away to avoid disappointment. A limited number were printed. Tickets are available from Margaret at the Credit Union at 029 707 464 70764 or Ray Daly at 087 903 1475, or indeed from any council member. Everybody is asked to play their part in making our town look its best for this occasion. Already the committee have made a start, and we are confident that by Saturday night the atmosphere will have reached mega heights in our town. The previous Friday night, that's May the 17th, our gathering committee are hosting a Euro-style karaoke competition at the Wallace Arms Hotel, and they're inviting people to write their own song for the occasion. And the DJ on the night is none other than PJ Coogan of 103 fame. Programme starts at 8 o'clock. Meanwhile, our Tiny Towns Committee are asking for your help again this Thursday night to continue with their weekly clean-up. Last week they had a wonderful turnout by the residents of Drishan, but we do want more locals to put their shoulder to the wheel and get stuck in. Meet at the square at 7:30 on Thursday. Judging for the Cork County anti-litter campaign starts this week on the town and the Tanyard Wood areas, so please be vigilant and keep every place clean and litter free. Last Friday night, a highly successful meet and greet gathering was held at the Wallace Arms Hotel in advance of the All-Ireland Sheep Shearing Championships, which will be held in the Greenlands on May the 25th and 6th. Organised by St John's GA Club, the two-day event is expected to be both interesting and entertaining, with many trade stands, wool handling demonstrations, sheepdog trials, cookery demonstration, children's fun section, and the event will draw people of the sheep trade from all parts of the world, Australia and Canada to mention just a few. It's all happening at the Greenlands on May the 25th and 6th. In conjunction with the show, our Bakru group are hosting a Shave or Die fundraiser on the Saturday night, May the 25th, in aid of Concord Cancer, and they're looking for volunteers. So if you would like to help, then give your name to any club member. A note here from the Glen Theatre to say that they have the wonderful Crystal Swinging Concert on this Saturday night, starting at 8:30, and the number there for information about tickets and so on is 029 56239. The annual Clahula Pattern Day will be held on Sunday next, May the 19th, in the school grounds, starting as early as 1 p.m. Programme will include races, football, blitz, sports, bouncing castles, cake and the cup of tea. And there's a great day out for all the family. The closing of the Living Scenes term in our community school was held on Monday. It was very well attended, and there was a fine show of ceramic art, which is the result of the combined efforts of the students and retired adults who worked together on them for the past number of months. Be on the lookout for Mill Street Schools on the popular RTE programme nationwide on next Monday evening. That's May the 20th. Be on the lookout for Mill Street Schools on nationwide. Every good wish and God blessing to the little children who will receive their first Holy Communion in our church on Saturday next. And we hope that they have a nice warm day too. A note here from Kilcorny to say that their parent-toddler group is opened every Monday from 10 a.m. until 12 noon. Preschool children and parents are all welcome. Mill Street Gramophone Circle meeting on this Friday night at the Canon O'Donovan Centre, starting at 8:15, and the presenter this time is Sean Radley. Now I have my papers mixed up. This week, a number of people were invited to the Mansion House in Dublin for the launch of the Bear Breffni Way stamps. The honours were done by Enda Kenny. The result of our lotto, which was held at Totten's Bar on Sunday night. Numbers drawn were 14, 15, 19 and 26, and the jackpot was not won. €100 went to Patrick Murphy, Pound Hill. The seller was the Clarion, and they got €50 seller's prize. €50 went to Kieran Quality of Kilcommon. 20 each went to Virginia Brosnan, Ratduan, Davy Tarrant of Tarrant's Bar, Kevin O'Connell, Rath-Rue, Mary O'Connell, Murphy's Terrace, Anne and Eilish Creedon, Clahula, Noreen Kelly, Caravalps Electric, Margaret Murphy, Clahula Beg, Niamh Kelly, Coyley, Station Road. The jackpot for next week is 9,600, and the draw will be at the Bush Bar on Sunday night. The music at the pub in Carriganima on this Saturday night is by Mike Coffey. Agus Shira Willacarda, and now I'll hand you back to the rest of the programme.
Well, my goodness, Eiley had some excellent news there, but we're back here in this very prestigious venue here at the Wallace Arms Hotel. It's the 10th of May 2013, and I'm joined by a host of most amazing people here who have given such great speeches. Now, right in front here, we can see three beautiful ladies here, and representing the government here, and Minister Coveney tonight, Anya Collins, TD. Anya, a very special event here tonight.
Absolutely. I mean, it's an international event coming to Mill Street, and you can see the dedication of the people involved in the community spirit and all the sponsors that are here. It's just fantastic.
Tremendous Holger. And Humphrey made a very special reference to a gentleman who gave a commentary supreme. I'm looking for, this is the man over here, George Graham. George, my goodness, that was some commentary. Clearly you work for RTE.
Well, no, I'm actually shearing sheep, but I'm actually looking for an easier job now, so I am open to offers, to be honest with you.
It was absolutely brilliant, but as you say there, my goodness, this is going to be some event.
I think it's going to be one of the greatest sheep shearings we ever had. It's a wonderful venue, and I expect to see one of the biggest crowds we've ever seen a shearing, and it's the extra bit of spice in it by the teams being selected for the World Championships next year as well. So it's great for Cork here to have the opportunity of having the first leg of selecting the Irish team. So it promises to be a wonderful weekend on the 25th and 26th of May, and along with the shearing, it's going to be also a wonderful family day out.
And this man definitely emphasises punctuality, because if you're 1 minute late,
you will be wait for another 24 hours for the next day.
So there we are. Now, representing the IFA here, a very special, for the whole world of agriculture and Ireland itself, very special event.
Very special event, and it's great to see it come down here to Cork. It is a big event in the rural calendar. Shows and events like this are great, and the volunteerism on the part of the members of the rural community, clubs like St. John's and the sponsors and all that, the whole lot put together. It's great, and it's a tribute to them, and we wish them the best of success on the day. I know it'll be a great day out, and hopefully we'll get the weather, and it'll be a huge event.
Uplifting support there from the IFA and right from the GAA, the Duhallow board. Richard, an amazing, inspiring team here in St. John's.
Yeah, it's fantastic for the GA. We know that all GA clubs are parish-based and so on. St. John's is a very young club, and I think it will be the makings of this event, because they're going to do fantastic work. They're a fantastic committee. They've some great young men and ladies involved in it, and I'm sure that we're very confident that they'll do a superb job, and they're great representatives for the GA in our division.
And if they need a referee on the day, you're all ready?
Oh yeah, they won't need a referee. Things will be well looked after on the day.
Very important, of course, the sponsors. And Dan Buckley, my goodness, very important there. You gave a great insight into the Buckley family history there tonight. But sponsorship, hugely important, but you're very happy to be involved in this sponsorship.
Of course, and it is our way of life, of course we are, yes. The only downside, and there's a very big downside, normally we'll be trying to keep the price of wool down. But in the glare now of LTV and the national and international media, I suppose we'll have to up the game a small bit. We'll do our best. Thank you.
Yes, thanks very much indeed. Now, representing Kerry in a very special way here today, representing the kingdom, we have the King.
Yes, I don't know about the King. I'm a part of the Irish Sheep Shear Association as well, and it is great to be involved in the All Ireland, and moreover it is in Munster. We always wanted to see it Munster, and thank God he's coming to Munster after 32 years. Oh yeah.
We're going to have the result there between Cork and Kerry on the day.
It'll be on Sunday morning. It'll be the result. Oh yeah, it'll be Saturday evening before the results will be out.
And George will be commentating on the whole thing.
That competition will be on at 7:30 on Saturday morning.
My goodness.
So,
and a man directly from the 9 o'clock news here, we have the one and only Pat. Pat, my goodness, you got such feedback from your appearance on RT.
Yeah, I suppose the whole thing from the start has been great. I suppose the whole club and everything to get behind the whole event and support it, and I suppose to bring the sheep shearing to Mill Street in the first place, and it'll be very good for the club. We're hoping to build a pitch out of this or go a long ways towards it anyway, so hopefully it'll go good on the day and we'll get a great response from it.
Excellent. Well, you're a great ambassador. Humphrey, you must be so pleased with all those great speeches.
Oh yeah, there's a fantastic turnout of people here tonight, and it shows how important this event is in the farming calendar for the year. When you have the Munster Vice President of the IFA, you have the head boys from the GA, IFA, farming, every kind of walk of life, and it really shows how major this event is. And I know in my heart and soul, because of the group that's organised it will go well. It will go well, yeah. They're a fabulous group.
And Noel, what a very special event it is for Mill Street itself.
Yeah, this is a major boost to the economy of Mill Street without a shadow of doubt, and credit must be given to the organising committee under the leadership of Humphrey O'Riordan, and I know that the attention to detail that they have and the meetings they have held, etc., that no stone will be left unturned, and I'm quite sure, and I would be very confident that it will be a resounding success.
So in the year of the gathering, there's really going to be some gathering at Green Glen.
That's without a shadow of doubt. On 25th and 26th to me, I reckon it will be an event that will go down in the history, the calendar of events that have taken place in Mill Street, and there have been many, and I'm quite sure this will be one of the ones that will be recognised over the years as one of the great events that was organised by the St John's GA Club.
Tremendous autograph, and particularly referred to tonight was how widespread the actual promotion of the event is, and this must be due to people like Hugh here, who amazingly you can see signs, I believe, in Dingle.
There are signs all over Munster and further afield, and I was in Athlone yesterday and we were putting up signs up and around Athlone as well, and we still got questions from them exactly what it was about, and there was a few of them that were interested in turning up. Lads, there is much to say more about this event, except we have fantastic sponsors, okay? We have events in Mill Street this month. We have tough tathlons, we had walking festivals, but without a doubt of all these sporting events, this is the premier sporting event that's going to come to Mill Street this month, this year. As George mentioned earlier, it's the Olympics of shearing. These boys are the elite and these women are the elite in their sport, and it is a sight to behold, and it'll be well worth a tenner for an adult to pay to come in for a whole day of this entertainment and much more.
And as Hughie says there, the importance of sponsorship. And my goodness, a wonderful sponsor here with a direct Mill Street link.
Absolutely. My father Frank is from Mill Street.
From one and only Frank Casey.
One and only Frank Casey from Clahula. And he is so proud that this event has come to Mill Street, and delighted to be involved with it. And of course, our key customers are the farming community, and to be associated with this event is absolutely fantastic for us. And to be associated with a club, a small club, one of the smallest clubs in Cork, but a club with certainly one of the biggest hearts in the country. And they have such great people involved on their committee and in the background. We're just delighted to be involved and to support them. And
I must say, you're a great ambassador for your company as well as for Mill Street and far beyond. Far beyond. Thanks very much indeed. And we'll move around just to the front here, because we have these three beautiful ladies still waiting for us here. And Anya spoke to us earlier, but representing Click. Very important, because it's actually known as the Click event, I believe.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. I work for Novartis Animal Health, which is a pharmaceutical company, and we manufacture the product Click, which is a pour-on for sheep. So we've been sponsoring for the last 20 years now the sheep shearing. I think we've only missed 2 years now in the last 20 years, so it's a fantastic event for us anyway, and for sheep and sheep farmers in general, yeah.
And I love the way you came along and you had a copious amount of notes there, but you made it so very special in that you shared it in such your sincerity in sponsoring this. Clearly, you realise how important the event is.
Yeah, it's an extremely important event in the sheep calendar. You know, it's as George said, it's the Olympics of the shearing. You know, and I think people who haven't been to shearing before don't realise the fitness and they are athletes, like, and it's actually very entertaining to watch and everything, you know, for everyone, even for non-shearers.
It's so inspiring just to look back and say, could they do it that fast?
Yeah, and they've, especially on the Sunday now, the Open International is a fantastic event, like, you know.
And didn't we love Anya's special reference to Specsavers? Because I suppose that ad about the famous sheep being sheared and the gentleman shearing the poor dog.
Okay, I know, the poor dog is right. Well, I was trying to be light-hearted and think of something that might be relevant, but you never know whether people know these things or whether they see it or not. So
I think that did an awful lot for sheep farming.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I think everyone knows it, that a good job now, a good shearer and a bad shearer anyway, or a fella that needs glasses. I hope we don't have any of those, and in the 25th and the 26th.
Yeah, and I noticed there tonight you gave very special praise to the local committee here, and of course secretary to the very important committee here, Sonia O'Riordan. Sonia, for you, this would be a first event of a nature like this.
It certainly would be. Before this, I knew nothing about sheep. It certainly is an education, and it's interesting. And as I said, as regards the committee, we're very fortunate for the committee we have. We all work together very well. We all help each other out, and no job is too big or too small for anyone. Any jobs that anyone has been asked to do, they go away, they do it, they come back to the next meeting, and the job is done. They're a marvellous committee.
And at this particular point, I suppose we'll all be buying woolen garments from now on. Would you agree on it?
absolutely, and hopefully we'll try and get Minister Simon Coveney to attend the event over the 2 days. I know the invitation has been sent out, but obviously he's got a busy schedule with Europe and being the President of Europe and so on.
And I think one of the most beautiful images that has come across must be Linda Desmond as Little Bo Peep.
Oh yeah, she's beautiful, yeah, and thank God the photographs are turning up in all the papers now, you know, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, the PRO is absolutely
and the two Creedons as the shepherds, yeah, the twins, yeah.
And they're from County Kerry, isn't that right, Kilgarvan?
They're on the border, yeah. I think one twin supports Cork and one twin supports Kerry, yeah.
Make for interesting conversation in the house.
Or interesting fights.
You are all bringing the beauty to the overall competition, and it's been a joy being with you all here this evening. And my goodness, with Bernard on camera here, what an event it has been. This has been a meet and greet with all these wonderfully generous sponsors and with all the different supporters here of this most amazing national and international event. So from this prestigious venue here in the Wallace Arms, we'll say good night and thank you very much for joining us on LTV2 on this particular week. With Bernard on camera here, we say it's farewell from programme 219, and thank you very much for watching. And of course, we do hope to see you all at Green Glens on the 25th and 26th of May 2013 for that amazing event on sheep shearing, and the other name is sheep handling. Yes, indeed. Oh, sorry, wool handling championships 2013. We have to get it right. Ladies, will you say good night to all our viewers here?
Good night. Thank you, Sean. We'll see you on the 25th and 26th in Mill Street, Green Glens.
That was one of the best good nights from LTV ever. Thank you very much indeed, ladies. And there it is, Slán Hispanic, Dale of Galair.